All right, so now I'm going to show you how to import the rest of the the rest of the animations. It should be pretty simple here. It's the same process as we did before. You're going to go make sure you're in the NLA editor right down here. What you're going to do is you're going to click here on no action. You're going to click here on the drop down, and you're going to search for the other animation. So for me, I need to go and search root. I'll be linked to that root armature. So right now I did the idle already, so I want to choose run, right? I want to choose a running walking animation for the BR01, which is the name of said animation. All right, so let's find one. So attack move 2, attack move. I'm assuming that's a running animation. Okay, looks pretty nice actually. Galloping. I like it. I'm gonna check the other ones just to make sure because we have a few other ones. Move back. Move 2 is a different one. I think it's more of a attacking. Yeah, could use this for basic attack. Yeah, you'll see there are other animations that they have that aren't necessarily fit to what you're looking for. Here, I can take the start of this and use it as a basic attack animation, for example. I'll do this later on because it doesn't really matter right now. So attack move worked. I'm just going to check something else. The hurt, idle, in, move 2. Oh, move 2, that's another movement one. Yeah, okay. Let's check it out. I think it actually is better. A bit more fluid than the other one. I'm just clicking back and forth here so I can just kind of loop it. I'm sure there's a way to actually loop it. I'm not sure how to do that. So I think I like this one. So I'm going to take this one as the BR01. You can also rename these. It might be easier just to have it, just to know. So it would be for this, the CHRD, so 2061, SVD 2061, and BN01. And you go up here. Oh, I'll just copy paste a little faster. And you do the same thing. You just name it BR01. Just for consistency's sake. I'm not the most consistent person when I work on these things, but it does help to stay organized. But okay, so you have your running animation and your idle animation. By the way, just so you know, because you might not be like, oh, what is he doing in here? How do I do this and that? You want to like display the animation below, just disable this and you'll see the idle animation under. And same thing, just enable this and boom, it's the run animation again. If you press tab, press tab while you're in this, it'll basically go into edit mode in the NLA. And that's when you'll be able to modify, delete keyframes and stuff. We'll get into that when it's necessary. Right now, the anims look fine the way they are. For instance, there was that attack move 2 animation earlier that seems that it would work well for a basic attack animation. So for those animation, you just want to see if it works or not. If it doesn't, it might be a bit too high though. I might have to relocate it. Yeah. If I remember, the scaling was 3. I think so. So you want to go into edit mode here. Then you'll go into graph editor. Go into pose mode. You want to make sure the armature is selected, which it is. You hit mistake, and you hit A, and you'll see all the keyframes. So now you want to grab the root bone. I think here would be BIP001. Pretty sure it's, or you grab BIP01 or you grab BIP01 spine. I'm just gonna try it out just to be sure. Up, just move it. No, okay, so this is separate. So you want to grab BIP01 here for NC models. I think it's the same for all of them, unsure. Grab the Y axis, double click on it, then hit G, which is for repositioning, and then hit Y. And then, oh, it's not working. It's not this one. Okay. Try Z. So I just want to bring it down, up, so that it's on the ground when he walks. Yeah, all right. It's a bit off axis though. So I just want to double check where it was. Yeah, so the paw was here. So you want to relocate that if you can with the X axis. Oh, x-axis is going down. What the hell is going on, man? Okay, I'm gonna reposition that, and we're gonna see that it was the x-axis. Sometimes you gotta try. These models aren't necessarily always accurate. Let's go into the side view with 3 on the numpad. GY, and then bring this down a notch. So the paw makes sense, like if it's actually on the ground. Clip through. Okay, I think that's fine. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so it was bib01. Sometimes the axes are off. I'm not exactly sure why. You just gotta test it out. Someone might say so in the comments. Oh, it's so obvious. Do this and do that. All right. Now this running animation is pretty much done. Hit tab to exit edit mode, and we're gonna bring in another animation. The important ones now are going to be the basic attack animation and the basic attack animation and the basic skills animation, right? It's like that's the animation you saw when Huang Longmon, sorry, did the roar earlier. So I'll be taking something like that as well. So here for the attack, I think it was attack move 2 that I saw that worked for the basic attack earlier, so I'm gonna try and bring that. In win this again. Could work for a skill animation, not an attack, not a basic attack. Okay, so here, attack move 2, that was it. Little stomp here, kind of works. There's this roar afterwards, but I don't need that for now. I'm just gonna check the other one, see if there's not another attack move 2 that works better. Oh, that's strange. Okay, I'll try another one too. Attack move back is pointless because he's just gonna move backwards. Doesn't make sense for a basic attack. Hurt is for the injured animation. We'll do that later. Evolution, idle, in. I've done those already. Move 2 is the movement. Passive. Oh, passive could work. Let's see what it has. Okay, no, it's sort of roar. The passive. This could work for the BA02, the thing I was talking about earlier. This could definitely work. Maybe need to reduce the duration a bit, but that could work. Okay, there's another move 2, so I'm going to check this one out. Oh, that's a real nasty stomp. Okay, maybe that one. This is the skill animation. It's way off filter. Okay. Not what we're looking for. Generally, these skills are really long, too long for hacker's memory, for Time Stranger. So sometimes you can find moments of the animation that kind of fit what you want. Here, for instance, oh, like him slamming the ground, right? This could work for a basic attack animation. It could definitely work. The rest is unneeded, right? But a lot of these display skills or whatever, they have a lot of pieces that, you know, could work for a more specific animation. So this stomp here definitely could work for BA01. I just want to check if there's other ones that I missed. Find something more appropriate. It doesn't have to. Okay, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. Skill 2. Let's see if there's anything like a tail whack or something like that. And he has a whoa. This tail whack could be interesting, but I mean, it could work. I'd just have to rotate it. Like, rotate him around and feel like, oh, how is it when I... This tail whack could work too. It's another option. So right now, there's a stand. That's another idol. I could check it real quick just to see if it's interesting, but I doubt it's better than the other one. No, it's not better than the idol. And Tong Yong, I think, is this like sort of taunt. Just check what it is. Oh no, it's eating animation. Perfect. I've totally forgot it had the eating animations. That's great. All right, that saves us a time later. Okay, now let's check the win animation. Maybe there's a part of it that works for basic attacks too. No, just a regular roar. And the normal victory animation, another roar. Okay. So we're about done checking all the animations. The best ones that I've seen for now, I think it's in skill display S? No, it's not that one. That's the one where he's running. It's skill display, yeah. In this part, he has this like, there you go, he slams the ground with his little paw. This big ass paw, sorry. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this animation down. It's huge, it feels like, oh, you're not gonna use this huge thing. What you're gonna do with this selected is you're going to duplicate it. You're going to track ordering to put it to the top. You need to do that, you need to right click, go to track ordering, and then go to top. So now I have two. You can disable this one, doesn't matter. You're gonna identify where your intended attack animation to start. Here it's gonna be here. So I'm gonna go into tab, open this on the bottom left, go into dope sheet, make sure you're in action editor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these keyframes up to this up to the playback, and I'm going to delete them. Then I'm going to select all the keyframes and move them to the beginning. Make sense? So when you start the animation, boom, you'll have him stomping the ground. Now what you want to do is after he stomps the ground, maybe not when he brings down his head, right? I think this is enough. Right after he stomps the ground, yeah, maybe just this. Then take everything afterwards, and you're going to delete it. You should be left with this, which should work for the purposes we require it for. I go back to NLA, hit tab, and it should have reduced the size, right? Because you don't have any keyframes, it's empty. Thinking, oh, let's reduce this. So here we have our basic attack animation, or like a general basic attack animation, right? If you don't have anything, unfortunately, you'll have to remake them yourselves. I'll go into that later and show how it can work. Especially with the death animations, there is no death animation for Ruin mode because it's from New Century and death and recovery. So I'll show you when I do that. It'll be complicated with his sort of frame, but I think it should still work. So you can just be satisfied with this, I guess, but it feels like it's too slow for basic attack animations, which are very fast in Time Stranger. They're really fast. So you'd want basically all this wind up to be sped up quite a bit. You're gonna basically follow the movement until the hand decides to drop down. That's the fastest moment. You're gonna go a bit before. You're going to split flips, what I do, to control the speed correctly. And let's say you wanted to end here, right? Say like, oh, this is where I want the paw to go down. You're going to go to the action clip. You're going to scroll down to playback scale. You're going to start reducing the speed. You can see it's there you go. And here we're at the point where the paw is fully up. We're going to bring this back to the beginning. Back to the beginning. Right? Whatever. Oh. I don't know why this isn't there. Alright. Alright, that looks much faster actually. Well, not much faster. We might actually can still decrease the speed. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's fast enough now. So in order to merge these two together, what I want to do and you're going to want to duplicate it back to top. I think you can do it differently, but this is how I do it. Generally works. Make sure the one on top is set to nothing, or else you won't be able to see the animation at the bottom. So now you can see it. There you go. So when that's done, this is what I do. I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but it's what I do. So just or follow my lead, or just, you know, you're going to dope sheet and make sure all of the, you know, bones are selected. Take all of these keyframes, delete them, go back into nonlinear animation, close it up, open it up again, and do the same thing here, but with the keyframes before. Delete all of them. What we're doing here is because these animations are separate for now. Oh, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I think I deleted a keyframe too many. Go back here. Up. You can see that it happened like that because the animation glitched a bit when I was playing it back. So let's do the same double check. Oh, still getting that glitch. Okay. Weird. Let me Control Z back. I find a point to see where it started glitching. Okay, there it worked fine. Yeah, it's still the keyframes, that's why. Okay. I want to delete all of those keyframes beforehand. Up, dope sheet. I have to delete all of these then. Okay. Guess I could just adjust it when I merge it afterwards. It work fine here. No glitches. Yeah. It has the nothing, and here it does. Okay, so right now these are both ready. Oh no, I didn't delete here. Never mind. I'm going to delete all of these keyframes. Yep. Hopefully we don't get that glitch from earlier. If not, we can always fix it once we merge it. Let's try again. Yeah, we get a bit of a slight movement here. But I think we can fix that. I think we can fix that. So let's try and just delete these, see if we still get that issue. One less. Up. There you go. If we don't, fine. Yeah, we're getting slight movement. I don't know what keyframe is getting deleted that handles the one in between. You can just try and merge it without deleting, see what happens. But you want to right click, select both, right? Select and shift select. Do that again. Select and then shift select, right click, merge LNA strips. You probably won't have this. It's an add-on that I had to add. I'll put it in the link in the description, or it's called merge NLA strips. So it's like you'll find it pretty easily if you type that on the internet. It's pretty useful. It doesn't require you to bake the animations, just merge the strips directly into the NLH editor. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm just gonna check, see if I have any bugs with this new merge track. I'm gonna disable both of these, make sure they're not influencing anything. Yep, seems to have worked. The speed up works, and we don't have that weird glitch thing, kind of, but not as much as before. So this is fine as a basic attack, so we're going to rename it SVD 2061 BA01, right? And that'll be our attack animation. We can delete both of these, they're now useless. If you want to modify, you can just do it directly into the BA01. I do think it's probably still too fat, too slow. But you can check that in game. Now we're gonna do the BA02, which would be, you know, the roar there. think of it as those skills like sonic boom and stuff like that. There's like this sort of animation that plays beforehand. Yeah, so a roar for like a big dragon just makes sense. And in my case, pretty sure the wind animation is what fit the most. Go back there and see if I can use the wind animation. There it is. Might be a bit long, that's possible. Yeah, it's a bit long. So same deal. I'm gonna drop it down in a light track, and I'm gonna duplicate it just so I don't mess with the, because we might use this for the win animation anyways, right? So I'm just gonna put this down a bit, disable it, put it with the skill 2. I'll use these later anyways. All right, so this is a BA02. It's, again, like I said, it's a bit long. Another way you like, the reason I split it up earlier, it was to basically have the claw being dropped there at a normal speed and not a sped up speed, right? Have this be faster, but you can speed up the overall animation as well. And you can do that, just same thing, just go and select the thing, go and display playback scale. I'm gonna hit 0.7, see that it's sped up, right? But it's for the whole animation, not a specific part. A little less clean to do it like this, but this roar thing works pretty well. I think it should be okay for the the BA02. All right. Also, yeah, naming them does allow you to differentiate the ones that are done from the ones that are just, you know, examples or stuff that you're going to use later, etc. Okay, so now BA02 is done. We can also add a hurt animation. I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna go to root, take the BD01, which is the hurt animation. We saw it earlier. There it is, hurt. This will generally require no changes. Just check, yeah. See that hurt animation? You'll also need a guard animation. The best way to do that, in my opinion, is you could be extremely lazy and just duplicate this hurt animation and use it for the guard. It'll work, it'll look okay. Or you can copy an animation or exaggerate this one, right? For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to use the hurt animation as the guard animation. Because I'm already going to show you how to make a custom animation with the death animation. That's going to be very long. So just to save time, I'll do it like this. I'll eventually probably make the guard animation myself. As I did for all the other ones, the other Digimon I made. Some of them actually have the hurt animation still, like Magnetramon X and Magidramon X, I think. But they have their own custom anims regardless. Sometimes it can work, so I'll just have to see it looks in game. I think this hurt animation looks okay for the guard, but I might make it custom later. All right, so it's pretty much done already. So you just type SVD for me, 2061 BD01, and that's what the hurt animation is called. You want to have the guard animation as well. Like I said, just duplicate it, back opening, send to top, and then rename it SVD for me, 2061 underscore BG01, and that's what the guard animations are called. All right. Next. The reason it's okay for guard animations, at least, because that it's hard to notice. It's hard for people to notice that, you know, you might have, you know, duplicated it, because it can look okay, and if it looks okay, then that's all that really matters. You can be a perfectionist if you want, but it can be necessary if you don't have an animation that fits well, like this one kind of does. Yeah, So if you have one that fits, just use that one, I'd say. So next, usually after BD01, I do BD02 and 3, which are the revive and death anims, but we're gonna wait for that because it requires for me to make them custom. I make custom ones because they don't exist in New Century. So now we're gonna look for the other anims that I need. We saw the eating animation, right? So I'm going to take that one. So I think it was Tanyong. That's what it's called. This is body. I need root. And it's called Tanyong. That's what it was. Up. And in the names, I'm just gonna drop it down and rename it immediately so I can. You guys, it's called SV for so the CHRID. So for me, SV 2061 underscore FE01. That's what your eating animation is called. Okay. Double check, see what I have left. You have other animations like the skill 1 and the skill 2, but those are more advanced things that you don't need to worry about right now. We'll do that after we do the death animation and all that. Well, there was passive too for that. Could be a skill. Okay. We have move 2. We already have the BN01, BR01, BA01, BA02, BD01, BG1, FE01. Okay, well, I guess let's just do the death animation, right? So for the death animation, I'll always basically, for any animation, as a matter of fact, I'll generally go off of an idle. Yeah, I'll go off an idle basically. Allows me to just have a base pose, right? So what you're gonna want to do first is you're gonna want to find a Digimon, again, like with the scaling, with a similar structure, size, like how they look, right? Like for Megidramon X, when I was doing the death animation, I used Megidramon as an example to put side by side and see what his death animation looks like in order to copy it, right? There is no secret trick to copy it instantly and have it being done. This is tedious. This is real tedious, and you're gonna have to do it if you're doing New Century models. That's just how it works. So I'm gonna re-import Ultimate Brachiomon. Sorry, you don't want to do it with Geom. You want to do it with MVGL times Stranger Geom, because it'll allow you to preview the animations. So I'm gonna type. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong folder. Tab 0, CHR 725, I believe he was called. You're gonna want to import him. Well, it's not like me because I'm in pose mode. If you're in pose mode, generally importing doesn't work. As a general rule of thumb. Import him. Right. He's a bit smaller. So right now we're going to click on his armature. We're going to go into move. I'm just going to move him on the side here. We're going to move him on the side, and we're going to go. Here are all of his animations. You see it's CHR725, so that's definitely Brachiomon. And you're going to go down and you're going to look for BD02. There it is. Right? It's weird that it starts off like that. Smaller in the animation. You can kind of. I'm going to scale him just so he's at just for the purposes of comparing him. Feng Longmon. That's his name. Huang Longmon, Maroon mode. So yeah, this is how it starts basically. And I'm gonna move him again to the side just to have him a bit further. Right, and so that's how he falls, right? This is kind of what you want to do. You want to copy the poses, right? Think of the animation as multiple different poses. You have this pose at the start, so you want to copy basically how Wang Longmon looks in comparison to how he looks. So you want the tail to be like this. You want the neck to be the neck to be brought down a bit, head being perched down, this part being lowered, etc. Right? So you'll have that first pose done, and you'll move on to the next big moment, right? Which is basically him moving his head back, right? And lifting his paw, right? So you want to do that same thing and then put a keyframe. Put a keyframe before, obviously. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, after you're done with the first pose, you put the keyframe, obviously. And then you'll do that and have the same thing here, put another keyframe and copy this pose. Then you'll go further ahead when he brings his foot down again. Copy that pose, put another keyframe, and then when he inevitably drops to the ground, you do that, copy the keyframe. And that's basically how you're gonna do it. So I'm gonna just show you how I do it now. Well, first of all, you want to select your own armature. Excuse me. And you're going to want to drop down the bones here in this area so that you can see them and see what you're selecting, right? Okay. With me so far? And so yeah, here you'll have spine, thigh, probably neck under the spine. It's all in hierarchy, right? So you got to think of, when you look at these bones, Bibs, your one earlier is the one we were moving, right? It's the main bone. And then there's the pelvis, which would be the waist, right? Then you got the spine, which is its own thing. Then the thigh, the left thigh, right thigh, spine one, so it's the higher part of the spine. Then it's the neck, and then the neck you've got the clavicle, so the arms, right? So this is how the bones are organized, and you're going to want to always, when posing, from what I've seen, no expert on, but from my general understanding, I'm gonna make this invisible also so it doesn't bother me. Yeah, make this invisible for now. You can always want to start with the bone that's in the highest hierarchy and then move your way down down the ladder on the other bones, right? Okay, so here we can see the pose is pretty much the same. There's just the tail. You could copy the tail. It depends on how the end of the... No, it's just because it lifts and goes down. So we can just essentially do the same thing for the tail. When he lifts like that, we can have the tail lift and then go back down. So we don't need to mess with the tail's position. So we're just going to focus on having him bend over, kind of like he is right now. And we're going to have to check and see which bones are responsible for that, right? So just click on the bone you want to move. Here I'm going to start with pelvis, right? And I'm going to rotate it, right? So you can see the pelvis is actually controlling the entire armature for some reason. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to rotate it a bit down, right? So it makes sense. That's what it looks like here. Looks like the body is rotated down, right? And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to move down, and you're going to want to move to the spine, right? When you do the spine, you're going to rotate it upwards. You're going to see, right? This is what I meant. Like, so I don't think it needs to be rotated upwards. So here I'm going to move on to the next one, which will, if I drop down, it would be here, the spine. You can ignore the thighs. You can do that later. I just want to see, there you go. That's what you want. You want to see which bones are best. Get the pose you want, right? Okay, this is more what we wanted. Obviously the arms here are still under the ground. Also, another good thing you can do before you start this, actually, go into object mode and go down and to add, sorry, you're gonna add, called again, I forget, surface, no, mesh and plane. Yeah, you're just gonna add a plane and you're gonna scale that till it covers a bit more of the surface, so you have an idea of what the ground is and you can see where your animation is like clipping through the ground, right? Make sense? Right. Go back to the armature now. Go to pose mode, right? We were on the neck. We were rotating, right? Pulling this, these legs, and the right. So I think that's fine. Pretty sure. And we can go down on the neck here and choose the left clavicle. At this point, we're going to be rotating these so that the arm, the paws, whatever, are not under the ground, right? That's basically how you're going to do it. And you want to do the same thing for the left hand. Where is it? L, upper arm, L clavicle, there you go. It's going to be down there on right clavicle. I don't think I rotated this, or did I? I did a bit, yeah. And you're going to want to go down, ignore the upper arm, go straight to forearm. That's what I did for myself anyways. That's what works out for you. I'm going to put this, then down to hand, rotate the hand. Obviously it's still clipping a bit to the ground, so you want to go back to forearm a bit, back to hand. Oh, shit. Bring it down. I'm using these things. They allow you to basically rotate it at an angle, right? So here we're starting to get, you know, what we wanted. Maybe go to the neck here. Actually rotate it a bit more, because his neck seems to be more rotate down. Also, if you don't want to use this because it's, you know, a hassle, you can hit Alt Z and you'll see the bones inside the body. So here I'm looking for basically what the next neck bone is, so I can rotate it. And it's not working. See, these neck things are for the fins or whatever they're called. Okay, here it is. That's the next neck one. I'm going to go a bit higher. Nope, this is for another fin, whatever they're called, and this as well. Searching for the next, maybe it's head. Looking for head, maybe. There you go, bip head. No, I'm looking for one before. 150, it's gonna be something called neck or something. Yeah, there it is, neck 2. This is what I wanted. All right, trying to get the best, closest pose I can get what I want. You can also hit 3 on the numpad and see how it compares, obviously. It's not exact for now. You go back down to neck and bring this down. And go back to neck 2 and bring this up. And obviously I brought neck up, so I have to go back to clavicle. Rotate that down. You can also, if the other one's bothering you because you're in the zone and you kind of know what you want, just bring it down. You don't need it. Here I have to go back to forearm and bring down the paw because it's too high, and it's the same here. Down to forearm. Sometimes you have an idea where it is. You don't need these, but it does help. Up. That. Back to forearm. There you go. I want to just figure it out as you go along. It kind of looks okay. Just a hand that's a bit under the ground. There you go. Okay, and now you want to bring these down as well. So this was higher. It was L thigh, R thigh, right? See, it's because of I rotated the waist, I think, right? So you want to change that. Go to the thigh. Foot. I'm gonna bring that down. Same thing as before. Same with this leg. Then bring down the foot. And just as an FYI, what I'm doing is, okay. I'm not a pro. It's not gonna look super clean, amazing. It's gonna look all right. It's gonna look like it's not professional, but it's somewhat okay. And you gotta be fine with that, or just don't mod, or learn how to do better. Obviously. And this obviously fucked up everything else. Go back to lower forearm. Ugh. This, rotate it down. Right here. Same, rotate it down. Arm. Go down to and do the same thing. There you go. So now it should be kind of what we were looking for before. What you can do, just to be sure you're doing something, you're doing it right. You go here and you shit. Hey everyone, yeah. So that previous part I screwed up because I forgot to hit tab. While I had that NLA track selected, like here. And when I re-recorded this part, the intention of redoing it, the sound screwed up. So I'm gonna do my best to give a commentary of what I'm doing, as to give you a better idea as to how to handle, creating animations for the animations you don't have for Time Stranger with the new Century models. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna hit play. And I'm gonna try to go through it. So here I hit tab, right? I go into dope sheet, and so here basically I had the model duplicate, the NLA track duplicated from the idle. So what I'm doing here is I'm selecting all the bones, and then I'm going to delete all the keyframes except the first one, because that's the pose I'm going to start with, start the animation. yeah, so here I had already started messing with the bones by rotating them until I realized I hadn't deleted the keyframes yet. So you do have to delete all the keyframes in the idle animation before you begin to like avoid unwanted animations showing up. Um, and yeah, you want it to be clean like this. But yeah, in any case, just to let you know as to what I'm doing for each, because it's going to be the same thing every time, basically. As I said in the previous part, right, you're trying to copy the poses, so I'm going to try to create keyframes when Brachiomon hits like the highest points and the lowest points in his animations. The beginning, the high point, the low point, and then when he finally falls to the ground, right? And you do this by going basically into pose mode, selecting the bone you want, right? I discussed it earlier. And then you go into the rotate option, and you're going to choose one of these X, Z, or Y in order to rotate the bone so that it fits the Digimon whose death animation you're trying to copy. Yeah, so that's basically it. I'll comment further if need be. So, yeah, wait. Here I arrived to the second pose, right, where he's finally in the air. So you want to, here you see that his spine is rotated a bit to the left. So you're going to try and rotate that and emulate as best you can the pose by rotating the bones that you have here, like on the right, or by clicking on the bone directly here. So what I did there is you saw like I clicked on the bones and then they kind of reset their positions, right? And you do that by basically clicking on the bone and hitting Alt R in pose mode. It'll reset the bone to its normal position, I think, or its rest position. And yeah, I just did that to basically allow myself to have more control over the tail, because they're kind of hard to deal with. All right, so here we're pretty much done with the animation. All I'm doing currently is moving the keyframes around to just adjust how fast he falls down. Even if you copied the animations, like exactly like where the keyframes are, etc. Just because of how your model is and how your interpretation of the animation differs from the original. You might want to just adjust that because you're missing keyframes that the other Digimon has. You can just like go in between keyframes and like let me show you. You just go like here and you look at how he is during that moment, and then you copy that animation and it'll copy that pose and it'll get closer and closer to what the actual animation is, of course. But you don't have to. You can just move around your keyframes so that you have a bigger impact, or your Digimon falls down faster or something like that. The further they are apart, the slower the animation is between the keyframes. The closer they are together, the faster it is. I think it stopped. Let me see. There you go. So here I'm basically done with the animation, right? So I'm going to rename that to SVD 2061 underscore BD02. And right now I'm going to do basically the revive animation, and I'm going to do it the cheap way, not the hard way, which would be doing this same thing basically in not in reverse, but you just activate, instead of using previewing Ultimate Brachiomon's BD02, you preview his BD03 and you do the same thing. However, here what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to reverse the animation. But here basically what I'm showing you is what you would normally do when you're basically creating the revive animations instead of just reversing it. And basically you would duplicate, let me just go a bit backwards and you'll see I was talking over, you couldn't really see, maybe, yeah. I duplicated the BD02, and what you're going to do is you're going to delete all the keyframes except the last one when you're finally on the ground, and you're going to move that keyframe to the very beginning. And at that point what you would do is you'd look at the Ultimate Brachiomon's animation, and then you'd repeat the same process that you did for the BD02. But alternatively, since, I mean, the revive animation is very quick, and it's not a big deal if it doesn't look that great, in my opinion, personally, you can basically also reverse it. I've done custom revive animations already, but sometimes the reversed one looks good. I think in this case it's not that great, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we'll see. There it is, basically. Yeah, so here I think I make a mistake. I'm gonna cut this out. Yeah, so this is how you do reversing the animation. You again do the same thing, duplicate your BD02 animation, send it to the top, and then you're going to open it in Dope Sheet with the action in editor enabled in pose mode with all your bones selected. And then you're going to hit S-1. And yeah, see, now you're going to have all of the bones on the other side, all the keyframes, and you're going to drag it back to the start, and you're going to see your animation is reversed. If you want to change it more, you can. It can be maybe even faster than it can be just faster than just copying the animation from the other Digimon. Like here you see his head jerking back. Like if I were to customize this further, then I'd modify the keyframe where I see his head all the way to the back, and then bring it back a bit to the front. Maybe make it look like his head is rising or something like that instead. Yeah, so right now I'm just checking if there are any other animations I'm missing, which I am. I'm missing the skills and the camera. Sorry, and the win, the victory animation. But you don't really need to do it right now, because I generally do it when I do the cameras for the other Digimon, right? But you could still like export it, like if you think like the speed is good enough and stuff. You're generally going to create the camera, the victory animation from scratch, generally. Especially if they had the super intricate, animations. But here it's pretty simple. You should be able to make an easy victory animation out of this. Yes, right now I'm just repositioning things, trying to keep things a bit cleaner. And yeah, so those are all the animations we're going to export, basically. Here I'm going to do them one by one because I don't want to switch Blender versions. I just want to stay on the same one for the sake of the video. But with Zeek's exporter, you can export all the animations at once, and they'll be named the same way as they are on your NLA tracks. So they'll have the right name anyways. So here you just want to select the track, right? And then you want to make sure the armature is selected so that you can export the animation correctly. Then you go into File, MVGL, File Export, MVGL, Time Stranger, Animations. And you make sure that the root bone, well, the armature, your current armature is selected. So for this Digimon, it's called root. Here I decided to skip to the other animation because I had already done the idle animation earlier. So I'm just doing the run animation. Yeah, so here we're just going to do the same for all the other animations. Okay, so here I'm basically copying all the animations from my export folder, and I'm going to paste them in the patch folder of the mod. All right, so here I basically copy pasted BA02 and renamed it FE01, FE02. This will basically allow you to not have the model T-posing while they're supposed to roar, right? Or whatever the animation you choose is. You generally just want to copy BA0, the animation you use for BA02, and use that for FE02 and FE04. There are other animations too, so right now I'm just going to go check and get back. Right, so I just went into Photoshop and copy pasted this list of animations we need just so I can show it to you. So you need the base animation, we already have that. Physical attack BA01, we already have that. B02, we already have that. BS01, BS02, we'll be working on that later. Damage taken, we have it. Defeat critical, we have it. BD03, we have it. Guard, idle, run, victory, we have all that. So we need these two, right? We need to duplicate BN01, BR01 twice, all right? And we'll rename them to what they're named to here. So it's FN0101. And the other one is FW0101, FR0101B. Oops, the hell? That was weird. Just click some things there. FR0101B. There you go. I think that's what it's supposed to be called, right? Oh, these are called copy for some reason. Oh, that's why. Up, remove that. And so there you go. You should have those items at least. Let's see what else we're missing. We have the eating food one. We don't have yawn animation. Honestly, I think for that you could just copy BN01. What's it called again? FE03, right? Okay. And we have that one. What else we're missing? We have that. Okay, so we're missing FQ01, FQ02. These are the field conversation responses. So just choose an animation that fits for positive response, negative response. For me, I think for negative response, I'd do BA01, like the basic attack, like it's angry and it's attacking you. Kind of what makes sense for me. It's positive response, so FQ02 for BA01. So I'd do Q02. And then for FQ01, you can choose the BA02. I think that makes sense. Or the eating animation if you want. I think BA02 is generally fine. Yeah. So I think that's, oh, sorry, not FQ03, FQ01. And I think that's all we're missing in terms of animations, apart from the skills. Oh, and the BN02. I think I did that already. No? A lot of shit in here, so I'm unsure. Let's just do the BN02. That's when you get poisoned and stuff. So you don't want to idle. You don't want to T-pose while you're getting poisoned or paralyzed or whatever. So there you go. I didn't have it. Double check. Case, and then there's the ride animation. I have no idea how to do those, so I'm just ignoring those in general. And you need to disable the ride in the CSVs. I just don't remember how to do that either yet. I'll show you that later after we verify that at least these animations are working for now. So we'll check in game, and yeah. All right, we're back in game. Let's check out ruin mode and see. Okay, so he has his running animation that's working. You know what? I'm actually going to move Feng Longmon from the team and just ruin mode so we can see him better. Walking and a running animation works fine. It looks pretty good, I'd say. And that's his idle. Get off the ground. I might have to correct that. And any second now, he should do his FE02, I think. There you go. That's the roar. Also, it's a bit off the ground. I might have to fix that, but they actually work. That's what we wanted to see here. The reason the text bubble is down there is because he doesn't have any lock files, so we'll have to add those later on as well. Let's just keep moving. Let's also put this into story difficulty. Yeah, it already is. Just so we can fight all the enemies and don't have any issues. So here we're gonna try. He has the skills of a Ultimate Brachymon. He still doesn't look great. It looks too big in game, so we'll have to scale that down in the model settings. He looks too big in battle, anyways. So now I'm going to just try like guard charge, and the BA02 works. He is a bit off the ground. Correct that. At least that works. The guard animation, yeah, works. I think the animation that will be the most troublesome is the attack animation. Basic attack animation. Because if I remember, it was pretty long, so let's see that. Looks okay. We can't really see it though because he's so big, but like it wasn't too slow at least. And yeah, so let's just make him do a special skill. Ice Glaive. Let's do that. You can't really see him. Unfortunately, he's too big in the combat, but the animations do work. That's what we wanted to see. So next up, we'll be working on the skills, the BS01 and BS02, and I'll show you how to fit those to effects that you'll import into Blender. And same deal as with the death animations and stuff. You'll just, instead of copying the poses, you'll copy the position of where the Digimons are, so that when the animations play, it makes sense, if that makes sense. Yeah. I could use like the skills, but it'll or crash or just skip the animation entirely. exactly. So yeah, now I'll just quit and I'll get back to Blender and we'll see how to do um, the skills. And before that, I'll also change the model settings, copy another Digimon, and see if that helps with the size in battle. Right. All right, now we're back. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the lock files because that will help the text bubble when you talk to your Digimon appear right, or when you get healed, the numbers will appear correctly and not at the bottom. So I'm going to add those. I think there are 5 that you need, if I remember correctly. So you're going to type in, for me, the ID of the Digimon I used in reference for the size. I think that's what makes sense because you want it at the right, height. So me, I think that was Chronomon DM. So you're gonna type the ID and then lock, and then you're gonna see all these files appear, right? So you're gonna copy them, close that, go to your folder, paste them, and then you're going to rename it to the ID. All right, now you should have all these. And since you did your model locator folder before, you should have the text bubble in the correct area. So that should be solved. The next we're going to do is we're going to do the skills, right? I'm not exactly sure which one I want to use. I think I wanted to use Chronomon DM's skill 1. So we're going to try that. All right, let me pull up Blender. So here we have model. I think this is the victory pose. So we had the skill 2 before. Let's bring it up and see the animation. That's weird. Oh yeah, okay. Charges and then shoots. Yeah, I could see that as a skill. Charges the energy, shoots it out. Not really sure what skill could work here, but let's try Chronomon skill first. So here you want to open up Chronomon's model or whatever Digimon you used, or you want to import any Digimon you think the skill would work. For me, it's Chronomon, so this is his BS01, his skill. So here he has a charge up thing. I think the energy appears on those cannons there, unfortunately. So it might not work out exactly like I wanted. To test it out, you can import the effect file for Chronomon. Well, for me, it's Chronomon. For you, whoever you're using. 046. And so when you're searching for the effect, when you know which skill it is, if it's a skill 1, it's going to be BS01. If it's a skill 2, it'll be BS02. But here I want the skill 1. It's Holy Flare, I think. Oh, got an error. That happens. And when this happens, you just gotta generally close Blender, open it back up, or get out of pose mode if you're in pose mode, which I'm currently not. Just try to import it again. If it doesn't work, then I'll just close out Blender, reopen it again. Okay. All right, so closing Blender, opening it back up again, fixed it, and was able to import it. So when I imported it, it does look like this, and that's because the animation isn't activated. So You want to go into the NEL editor. This is an important. There you go. Have the effect here. You want to activate it, right? You can even, after you've activated it, hide the bones, the armature, because you don't really need to see it anymore. And if you start moving, you'll see the animation playing. Boom. All right, so that's how it works for him. Unfortunately, I don't see how that can work with playing Longmon. Part maybe with the Digicores. But that means I'd have to add the bones to move the Digicores to be able to, you know, move on their own, and yeah, complicated, but you know, see how it lines up with his animation. So now you're going to make him invisible, and you're just gonna see how it looks with your own Digimon. It looks weird because there's this like long weird buildup, which you can shorten, right, by, remember, tab. Actually, make sure you have the armature selected. Pose mode. Go into dope sheet and see where the animation like really starts. All right, so for me it's here, right? Up right when he starts dipping. Let's take that. Delete all of this. Goodbye. Press A to hit all the keyframes, and then move this to the beginning. Then head back to the NLA editor. So now the animation should play where it's supposed to start at and not have this weird long wind up. So as you can see now, it's I'd say, you know, I think that I can remove this entire part here, and I can have it start at the roar. Right, this part would line up with the circle appearing, right? Like that's the idea. I think I'd do that, yeah. See how it looks like this. So go into dope sheet. Delete. This is destructive workflow, by the way. Not something you should do. You should probably save before doing any of this. Go back here and then see how the roar lines up. Let's just, maybe I want to speed this up. Speed this entire part up. So I'm going to split clip. Going to playback scale up. Right, I'm already has his back going up while the circle appears. Boom. Okay, that's the first part done. That's lined up. However, kind of want to make this part last longer. Actually, since you want a kind of scream, at least this I think this roar actually is better served. Could be interesting because if I do the digicores, when I create the digicores, and if I can animate them, I can move them both up here while he's like screaming down, and then have them shoot the lasers, right? Hmm. Interesting. Well, I'm going to, in any case, Control Z all this. And I'm going to make a save, just in case. I'm going to call this save skill 1. And right now in this save, all we're going to do is going to work on his skill 1. And we're going to, you know, make sure that everything fits for this. And we have a starting point, right? Um, So in any case, I do want to delete this long windup. Maybe a bit before we go on the dope sheet. And oops. You want to delete all this. A, again, move it back to the start. And LA editor. So I feel like the circle could appear when he's leaning down, as opposed to roaring. The roar could fit with these ears appearing if I have the digicores. So yeah, let's see. Okay. First off, I'm gonna click here before he dips. Go to the action clip. Increase the playback scale by quite a bit. And no, I need to increase some more. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Right, like that. I kind of want his head to rise when that line appears here, right? We're going to create another split clip, which will be right before he rises his head. Now we want the rise of the head to appear when that white light appears. So right there. You're going to increase the playback scale. Boom. See? Yeah, I think that's we're getting somewhere. But you see, this is the general idea. You import the effect, you import the character, and you activate the animations on both, and you compare. Here I'm not comparing much to Chronomon. Sorry, no, that's what's his face, Brachiomon, because he's already, you know, scaled appropriately. That's what I made sure when I was scaling him, make sure it made sense. If I do have the digicores where those cannons are placed, then the animation will make a lot of sense, even though right now it doesn't really. It'll just be 2 fireballs above him, I guess. Yeah, so let's deactivate this, keep working on that. All right, so we got this, that lines up well, and there you go, that lines up well. Is this good enough though? I guess the moment he dips his head, the balls start charging up more, so that kind of makes sense too. All right, so I feel like this animation works. Just gotta make it longer so it lasts the exact same amount of time as the effect animation, which ends here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, go to the dope sheet. The armature is selected. And you see, you're going to leave this playback here. Don't touch it. Click on this keyframe here, hit Shift D, then drag it all the way to where the playback is. Before, after, doesn't really matter. Actually, it's better before. And yeah, now you're, oops. Yes, it doesn't. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that was stupid. You want to do this after you merge all the clips together. That's my bad, I forgot. Now you're gonna go here, you're gonna duplicate this, go to the bottom, send it to the top, delete this track here, move this up here. Why it's eating up that space. And you duplicate this. Same thing. Delete that. Then go in here, make sure in extrapolation it's nothing. Make sure this is also nothing, and make sure this is hold and replace. And the animation play just fine. Well, apart from, you know, it turning off near the end there, but you can adjust it by adjusting this one here. But before we do that, we're going to make sure we delete all the keyframes that don't need to be here anymore. Yep. Why isn't it working? All right. So right, same thing. Don't move the playback. Just drag all this here. Delete. Oh, shit. My bad. Make sure the playback is at the right area. Go back to dope sheet. Drag. Select all this. Delete. Back. Do the same here. Before and after. Oh shit, my graph editor. Drag everything here. Miss any, shift click, delete. Back. Sure, use the right area. Maybe all this is unnecessary, but it's been working for me so far. So this is the method that I'm sharing with you. And here it's the same thing. You want to delete this. Go into dope sheet. Select everything. Delete. Real people who use Blender or are watching this be like, whoa, what are you doing, man? You're destroying your animation. Probably. But again, this has worked for me so far. So it's what I've been doing. Yeah, so now you just want to add a keyframe to where this ends. Which is here. Tab, go back into dope sheet. Click on this keyframe, shift D, and then drag. Go back to NEL editor, see the keyframe there. And if it, you know, doesn't adjust like that, just go here and drag it, or go in here. It says 194 there, so type 194. It should drag itself all the way there. Yep. So now your animation will at least keep playing. Might look off in game, depending on how the camera is, where the camera's pointing at. Because he's not really moving, he's not shaking anymore. But here he's actually staying pretty still, and he's just moving his tail. So what you would do is you would like, I can actually do it now. Go in here, and then you're going to copy some of these keyframes and paste them until we get to the end, and then adjust them so to make sure it doesn't have any issue. go into dope sheet. Want to go follow the tail movement and see. There you go, right? It has this up wing here. You want to copy where the tail starts to rise again, okay? So up. There you go, about here, I'd say. And you're gonna copy paste that. Actually, all this. Oh, you want to select that too. I don't know why it won't select. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing as you did for that particular keyframe. Shift D, and then there. And just see first if it looks okay. See, there's a little stutter there, but I mean he's stuttering like crazy anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. And you're going to hit Shift D again. You're going to move it. I'm assuming near the end it's so zoomed out that it doesn't matter if it's stop moving. I guess it looks, there's a little like, you feel there's a repetitive motion like here or something. Maybe you can like delete some keyframes or something to make it smoother. But I'm not sure how it looks like in game. I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. So we're gonna go back into the NLA editor. And we're gonna do what I did earlier for the BA01. We're going to merge NLA strips. You can even disable these just to check if the animation still works. Just gonna check again, yeah. Okay. So now you have your animation. You can actually, you have your previous save. You can delete these and just have this one, which will be your BS01, which is the skill 1. Aim for the skill 1. Right? You can do the camera. But at least in this case, you sort of look at not you, look at Chronomon. He's at a like higher point than but he's also further behind as well, so camera might be too zoomed into him depending. We can check, but the thing is that the camera settings in the game are different than the ones in Blender, and I have no idea how to make sure they're the same. Someone I'm sure knows in the Discord community, but I don't think I've asked the question. But in any case, I'm not sure exactly how it works. So for me, the best way I do it is after I'm done with my animation, with the, you know, primary tweaking, I want to call it that, with seeing the effect and all that. I'm pretty happy with where it's placed, basically, where everything looks. At least might not be exactly this in game, because of the size difference with the model setting. But yeah, it's pretty much it for how you know, make the animations fit with this one was pretty easy. I didn't even have to really move my model. Generally, sometimes, like let's say Chronomon was you know, up here to the right, then you'd have to, you know, go into your animation, into, you know, the graph editor. You'd select, you know, your BP01 location in pose mode, sorry, not object mode, it's like that. And then you hit, you know, G and Y, sorry, it's not that. D, yeah, and you start moving him up and down and seeing, like, try to get him up to where the other Digimon is basically. But you're pretty lucky, pretty centered towards the center of the area. He doesn't move much either. But that's generally how you go about it. I'm sorry if there's not a more concrete example. Maybe for his skill 2, I think that I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use, but if I find something good for it, and it's a more skill with a bit more movement or whatever, you'll be able to see how I do that. Um, I I haven't tried doing melee skills yet because it seems way more complicated, since melee skills are more tied to the exact movement of the model, right? Which makes sense, as opposed to big laser beams, which just shoot from one fixed point, which is much easier to handle. So I'm not exactly sure. You'd have to like remake the animation to fit the effect, because you can't really mess with effects yet, from what I understand. So yeah, this is it for the skill 1. I'm going to export this. Go into the NLA editor. Click on the skill 2, the 1, sorry. Have the armature selected. You can actually make all of this visible. And we can export this by selecting the right NLA track and the right armature and naming it correctly, ES01. I'm going to do another save and call it skill 1 test and see if this one was successful, right? So we're going to leave Blender and go here. First, we're going to go into finally battle skill list. Generally, you don't want to use LibreOffice or Excel, but I've never had issue doing so with I've never had any issue doing it with the battle skill list CSV at the very least. So I just generally use it because it's just clearer. But here, so I generally see I'm using 9 as the number for the skill. 90,000, right? So you just write 9, then your ID. So for me, it's 2061. Then you'll have the first skill, and then generally the second skill, I'll name it 92,062, right? And so on and so forth. So here you have the skill ID. So now you're going to copy the skill information for from Chronomon DM, right? So we're going to go back here and go into extracted files. No, that's not where we want to go. But yeah, to the extracted MBE files. So I'm going to go battle skill MBE for me. This is where I keep all this. And so I know that the ID for skills is 20,000. So it's 2 and the ID of the Digimon you're using. So 046 for Chronomon DM, and you hit 1 because it's the first skill, and there it is. That's Holy Flare or whatever it's called. You're going to click here to select the whole line. Then you're going to control click here to not select this. You're going to control C to copy, and then you're going to go into the other CSV you have. Click here, control click here, and then control V, copy paste, right? You can leave this line is for the name of the skill, so you can leave it as is for now, because until I finalize everything, I don't really mess with the names, the explanations, or anything like that, because you just want to do it once when you know your skill is finished and all that. And yeah, here you just want to make sure that since this is the skill 1, it's set to 3, which it is, right? Oh, I have an issue here I can see where this skill, for I think this is Ibon Wumon, is set to 4 when it should be set to 3 because he's the skill 1. So sometimes you can see those issues that appear. Yeah, but it's already set to 3, so it's fine. It already is a skill. We don't need to mess with the skill effect right now. We just want to see how it looks like in game. So you're gonna save, text format, close, and then you're gonna go into your Digimon status MBE. You're gonna open it with Notepad and click on your new Digimon, and you're gonna search for the ID that starts with 20,000. There it is. Here there's 2 moves. It was Ultimate Brachiomon, so this is Ultimate Brachiomon's ID. You want to replace, replace this with the new ID you created for your move. So me, it's 92061. And since there is no skill 2 yet, we're just gonna put 0. Now we're gonna save, close this up. And normally you just need the cam files, I think. Actually unsure, just give me a second. So yeah, now all you need to do is take cam files from the exported assets. So here, type in the ID of the skill you want. CHR for me 046 underscore BS01. And then you're going to take all of the cam files. Normally I take all the EF files as well, but apparently that's not necessary. So I'm actually just going to try that right now. If it is necessary, then we'll just do it afterwards. Actually, wait, let me check something. All right. Just needed to check something first. That's all good now. Let's take all the camera files, copy them, paste them, and now we're going to rename them to the name of our ID. Copy paste it from anywhere or just rewrite it. And just so you know, if here your file says BS02 or BS03, and this is your skill 1, you do need to rename it to BS01. All right, now you have all your cam files. Let's try it out in game. See if it works. All right, now we're in battle. You can see the tail is just surrounding the player character. It's kind of hilarious. I don't know if I can fix that part if I make it, you know, go the other way. But it's kind of funny from the outside. You can see it actually circles around. But yeah, let's try the move, see how it looks like in game. And if we need to change up the camera. So yeah, I mean, the move fits, at least it looks cool. But I definitely need to fix up the camera, be able to make it work effectively. So let's go do that. Right, so we're back. Um, so the skill looks good in I'm gonna actually activate effect now. Yeah, the skill looks cool. I mean, it works. He's positioned in the right area and all that in game, but because the model is different, the animation that uses is different. It doesn't fit the camera animation that the game does. So you have two options here. You can basically create a brand new camera animation, and you can you make it work for you as you can. You create keyframes to create the animation you want, or you can import the existing one and either put it further away from the character so that you have less of an issue when it comes to the specific type of the animation that's fit for that character, or you can modify it to kind of make it fit your character better, right? So right now what you want to do is you want to go to import DGL Stranger Geom. You're going to type that ID of the Digimon you want. So for me it's again Chronomon DM, so DHR064 or BS01. And here you're gonna go on these two. There's camera files, EM and PC. PC is for your Digimon, EM is for the animation in reversed for the enemy Digimon. So you're gonna want to take PC. All right, so that was imported fine. You can see there's an armature here for the camera. If you activate it, oh yeah, activated, you can see where the camera bone is. And unfortunately, it doesn't come with its own camera when you import it, because I believe this add-on is a port of an add-on for the previous game, so it's not specifically tailor-made for the game. But in any case, you can just add a camera, hit Alt G R Y, generally what I do. Remove this plane as well. And then you're going to click on the camera, go to object constraints, child of, and then target the camera armature, so this one. And then you want to go bone and you want to select camera bone there. All right, so now it's actually facing and animating as it would in game, albeit the camera settings are different, right? So it looks more zoomed in than it does in game. I'm not exactly sure how to fix that, so I just kind of work with it. So if you hit 0, you basically 0 on the numpad, you go to the camera view. So right now, activating like it does in the game, like we saw earlier. It zooms in on these on his eyes. I'm assuming that's his eyes for Chronomon, and zooms out. In game, it's you actually more see what's here in the screen, I guess, rather than what's in the small square or rectangle. And then it zooms in on the sphere. This part I'm fine with. The zooming in on the spheres, and then the spheres shooting the lasers, and then seeing Longmon at the bottom. See, this part of the animation I'm totally fine with. It's everything that's here, I guess. That kind of, I don't mind us ending up face to face with the Digimon, but it's basically this part that bothers me here. Like this appearing either, I think is fine, but it's this whole part basically, I'd say. All right, so this is the start of the animation I want, right? Maybe the camera leaning in to the spheres and then it shooting. What's before that? Let's say here. It means I'm going to do the same thing as I did before for the other ones. Oh, right, because I haven't selected the camera bone. That's what I want to select. Silly me. Go back to object mode, select that, go into pose mode, and then select this bone. Open this, go into dope sheet, and there you go. So here you can go back into the camera and you can see this is the animation I want to keep here, and I'm just going to check what's before. Yeah, I don't really want this. I can keep this one here just as a reference. Everything before this, I'm going to delete. Delete this here. And I'm going to copy this frame and put it right before this. So it just looks like it's a camera change, right? So at least this part of the animation, for me anyways, is pretty much complete. Because it starts here. Right, and everything before will just do something else. I do like this start here from behind, it's pretty cool. But everything afterwards is unnecessary. So we can just delete it. There it is. Everything here. So there you go. You still have a keyframe there. Fine. You still have it here because this keyframe is still here. If you remove it, it'll just weirdly animate between that keyframe and this one. Well, you can try. And see if it works. Delete these keyframes and see how it looks. But it's probably going to look very strange. Yeah. So yeah, just bring it back. There you go. Now we have that keyframe, which is basically a change in camera angle. You can change it to whatever you want. Right here. I'm actually going to like half in between for some reason, like frames. Gonna hit I. Need this here, and we'll have our camera angle change right here. So this is where we're going to basically have fun and mess around with the keyframes and see what kind of camera angle we want. Have in between this moment and this moment, right? We have a good like 6 seconds of animation, where right now the bone is just slightly animating towards where this keyframe is. All this movement is unnecessary. We could change it to whatever we want. As to what, totally unsure for now. I'm just gonna have to figure it out. Okay, so here you have a few things you can do. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna delete these keyframes, and what we're gonna do is we're going to set split clips here. Right, and then split clips exactly where this keyframe begins, or the one we like was. And do that, and you're gonna split clips here, and then you're gonna delete this, right? And what you're gonna do after that, you're going to you're gonna create a new action, right? Create a new action, and you're also going to add a new camera. You're gonna go into object mode, add camera, Alt GRY. Oops, not what I wanted. I'm gonna hit Alt R. Gonna reset its position. And then what you're going to want to do, if memory serves, We're going to add, this is what I'm doing. You don't have to do the same thing. You could just create a simple camera animation with keyframes, but this is what I like to do. Add a curve. I think it's curve, right? Is it curve? Yeah, it's curve. Path, right? Now you're gonna take that. You're gonna move it to, say, I actually liked it at the center, right? I'm gonna move it up. This path here is going to be the path that the camera follows in Blender. So right now you're gonna take this, move it here. Towards here, you can see that there's a curve that starts to be created, right? And you're creating, take this, put it here, take this, put it here. You might want to delete some keyframes if you just want a simple curve. That's actually what I want, so I'm going to delete this one. I just want, I don't need this curve, this one either. I just want a simple curve. Even go into the above area just to get a look at what you're doing better. Right, let's say that that's fine. And so now what you're gonna do, oh, I didn't notice that it was not the same height. That's okay, actually. I don't mind it, you know, curving upwards. Not bad. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna click back into object mode. First of all, you might want to move it around to a position that you like. I think I'm gonna move it here so it circles around him and then ends up in front of him. And then the next camera angle back here, and then it zooms out. So yeah, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna click on the new camera. We're gonna add an object constraint, which is gonna be follow path. You're going to target the nub's path, and you can see now the camera is connected to the path, right? So right after that, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna add another constraint. We're gonna add a track 2 constraint. This time you're gonna target the body of Huanglongmon. Here you're gonna probably choose the head, probably the best thing to zoom into, right? All right. Also, right now, this camera is currently what it's set as. So if you want to set a different camera, you right click on the camera and then you check set active camera. Right. So yeah, right now it doesn't move, huh? It just moves by following the head. But that's not what we want anyways. Right here, I think maybe you want to move the track. Oh no, track 2 should go under. Never mind. And now what you want to do is you want to have a keyframe on the follow path. You're gonna click here, and then you're gonna go further ahead and right before, or actually wherever you want. I think I'm gonna put mine a bit closer. And you're going to type 100. Oh no, sorry. Type minus 100, and the camera will end up at the other side where you input a keyframe. So now the camera will move following the head of Huanglongmon as he roars. Now you can check in the camera animation, but it looks like that. Pretty much. I might have to change that. I have to change it so that I switch to the other animation after he drops his head down. Yeah. So you basically have your camera animation that's in between. Obviously, it's not switching between cameras because I'm not on the same camera track. That's okay. So now that we have our camera movement, we need to basically make sure we need to make sure that this camera animation plays above that one. So what we need, we're going to click here again. For that, we need to select the camera armature, pose mode, click the camera bone, click tab, go in scope sheet. And actually, no, before you go there, go to the editor, and I think I'm going to put it around here. Back in scope sheet. I'm going to take this, I'm going to duplicate it. Oh, I don't think I duplicated it. Yeah, you're going to do, I did. You're going to duplicate it. See that the camera starts. Oh, no, it doesn't. Hold on. Huh. Give me a second. I'm gonna check. Oh, what's going on? In any case, let's forget what just happened. We're just going to continue with the camera and we'll deal with editing everything else later. So we're going to click on this camera again. Right. So this animates correctly. Right. What we're going to do now, basically transfer this animation from a camera to the bone, which currently handles the camera animation for the regular camera animation of Chronomon DM. Jesus Christ. You basically have to click on the camera bone this time, go into bone constraints, and add, it allows me, well, maybe I need to be in pose mode. Yeah, go to pose mode, add a bone restraint to the camera bone, and you're going to, I don't remember if it's child of or copy transform. I think it's copy transforms. So go on that, select camera 001, and yeah, the camera bone moves to where camera is, and you can see it even follows that animation. So why did I do this? To be able to bake this animation into an action that's on the camera bone that you want to use, right? So right now the camera bone is selected. You're going to click on this action right here. You're going to go into scope sheet, and you're going to create a keyframe with I. Remember where you had it. Mine's at 44, frame 44. And what you're going to do is that since you're in pose mode, you're going to go to pose, animation, bake action. right? And oh, actually, there's more information you need. Go to nonlinear animation and see where it ends. I remember I wanted it to end here about. Say it's here, just keep it clean. No, actually fully down at least. Say 110. Right, let's say 110. So I'm gonna go back here, animation, take action. I'm gonna start frame at 44, end frame at 110. Going to check visual keying, override current action, and clean curves. I'm gonna hit OK. It's gonna calculate and give you the keyframes that you just made for your camera. And if you want to see if it actually works, what you're going to do is, first of all, you're going to check, yeah, camera works, right? And then, oops, and then you're going to deactivate the copy transform or straight up delete it and see if the camera still moves, which it does, right? So now you have that working. You can close this camera animation nonsense, close it, doesn't matter. Now it works on this camera. You're going to go back into object mode. You're going to set this camera as the active camera. And then you're going to drop down this action. End up nicely nudged in between both of these. And you can see it's somewhat, I don't know why this still has that animation. And nudge this here. Or we can simply duplicate this top. Works. For some reason it doesn't. There you go. Delete that. And we can move this to the top. Move it here. And then here we can have fold and or yeah, here we can have nothing. Here what we want to do is go in scope sheets. The camera bone is selected in pose mode. And delete frame which seemed to be causing the issue. Now when you close this, you can up. Oh, also you do want to delete the keyframes afterwards since you already duplicated that. Oh, you're gonna go here, you're gonna delete all these keyframes. Goodbye. Then when you go back to NLA editor, just take this end thing and 42. Now, why ain't working anymore? Camera bones disappeared. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm in edit mode, that's why. Okay, so I'm in pose mode now. The camera animates fine, then goes here, then suddenly goes back. Normally it's supposed to go. Huh. Where's the camera? Alright, something went wrong in this process, so I'm gonna have to control Z when it happened. Okay, let's see, this plays fine. Yeah, this plays fine. So it's when I I can duplicate this again. Top. Delete this. This to nothing. layer above, put it to nothing, right? And then yeah, here I want go tab, dope sheet. Oh yeah, you want this selected, go to pose mode, select the bone. First of all, you want to delete these keyframes. You want to zoom in. So you're going to go back to NLA. Here. Now you're going to go, dope sheet. You're going to duplicate it. You're going to put it here. Yeah, here. Go back to NLA editor. There's still another keyframe over there. Gotta pay attention to that. That. Okay. I'm just gonna go here and extend this to 10. Oh, nope, that's not what I want. I know what I can do then. Back to dope sheet. You're right. Here and move this here. And should be okay. Nope. Got completely displaced for some reason. Alright. So after trial and error, because I still have to do that, I managed to get something I like. There you go. You know, it's okay. It's not exactly the best. I'm not the best at it. Animating cameras anyway. I think it's alright for the purposes of what I wanted. Basically doing what I want. I think I may want to bring this area back a bit. I'm unsure. I have to see how it looks like in game because the camera isn't very accurate here. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. After which, I just want to like this, go in pose mode, set the bone. I still want to duplicate this here, just so I'm sure that the camera moves correctly, far away from. Yeah, okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing I usually do. Clip here and here, and delete this. And I'm going to bring this all the way up. And when I do that, apparently, oh, it's because I'm on combine, that's why, and not replace. There you go. Explains that. So here and if you check, I should have animation still working. Just gonna double check. All right. It works, so now you can merge the strips like I showed you before. Double check. We're going to disable everything. And again, check if the animation works. Yep, it worked fine. So now we can export this. Should be able to without any worries. Disable this effect for our eyes. And we can also disable the curve. It's unnecessary now. And yeah, we should be able to export animation. We click on the camera bone, object mode, closer, so kids, go to export, MVGL, time stranger, anim. I'm gonna choose the camera track, this one, then this NLA track. And then the correct naming scheme would be CAM underscore the ID underscore BS01, then underscore PC, right? What you can also do just to have that extra file already ready for when you eventually want to make this Digimon into an enemy Digimon or have someone else do it for you, you can just have a file ready for the enemy, which is essentially just the same one. Normally you would need to reverse it, but since there is no, I don't have an enemy version of my Digimon, I'm not going to make it. I'm just having the file there just in case. So you can do it, you cannot do it. Just change it to EM and then export. All right. Generally, when you change an animation or a camera animation of an existing Digimon, so in this case, Chronomon DM, the geom files for the character animations, the camera animations, won't work with the newly adjusted camera animation you created or exported. So what you want to do is choose a different Digimon. I generally used Lucemon fall down mode. Someone sent me those files back then, and I've always used them, and they always work. So that's the one I use. You can try with a different Digimon, see if it works. But I generally use those, Lucemon fall down mode, I'm pretty sure. And then you want to copy, so the first let's just copy the rest of the camera files that we can take from Chronomon DM and copy them into this folder. Right, so here we already have, we actually have already done that, right? We did it for the previous previous attempt. The ones you don't want are the geomes. So here, PC geome, EM geome. You want to delete these or replace them when you get your new ones with another Digimons, because or else you'll get this weird camera effect not working, like it's glitching and it's like black and white. You won't see anything. It's very annoying. Yeah, so let me just go get those files. So as you can see here, I have two files ready. These are from a previous Digimon, but I know they work normally. Normally, you never know when you're doing this type of stuff. Just fuck up for all you know. So I'm going to rename these 2061, 2061. We're going to copy them, or you can just drag and drop them, I guess. Not a big deal. And oh, it's CHR still, not SVD. I need to change that. All right. So no, you don't want to don't want to drag and drop them and then rename. You want to rename them and then drag and drop them. Jesus. SVD. SVD. Click. Drag and drop. Place. And so normally now your adjusted camera animation should work with the Digimon you have. So let's check it in game. Yeah, and I forgot, don't forget to copy paste your new camera animations into the folder. Yeah, don't forget that. All right, we're in game now, so let's try it out. Perfect. Nice, that looks great. And yeah, there you have it. Now you should know how to for custom Digimon, make somewhat custom animations and adjust camera animations to what you want them to be. You don't need to use that curve option. You can just do it manually with the keyframes, by the way. It just you saw me do it with the death animation. It's not easy. It's hard to control that way. Making it follow a path in a smooth way from A to B is a solid way to fill up a part of a camera animation you don't like with something else, and then merging the strips together after chopping them up to pieces, right? So yeah, essentially after this you do the same thing. For the BS02, the skill 2, I have this weird animation there. I'm gonna do something for it, but here I kind of knew what I wanted to do for the skill 1, so it was easier for me to find something. I'm sure I could find something for this. But when you're searching for a skill, like you're going to type on YouTube all Digimon time Stranger Mega skills, at least, because they're the best looking ones and the ones that make the most sense, especially when you're making a terrifying looking Digimon like this one. So yeah, you want to look at what works best. You're gonna have to go through a lot of footage. There's no going around that unless you already have a really good knowledge of all the moves in the game, what they look like, what the camera angles are, etc. You're just not going to be able to get away from that. So yeah, that's how you do. I'm not going to show you the skill how I do the skill 2. There's pointless. It's exactly the same method, except it does start further away. I doubt that a lot of effects start from here. I'm just going to show you what I would normally do. Go into pose mode, right? Type location, go to bib01. Y, I think, is the location, or no, that's side to side. So maybe down. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes with these models, for some reason, they don't move. They'll move like diagonally, right? Which is really weird. But you can solve that by just first of all, actually, you'd want to probably start at the end, see where he lands. That's where you would adjust, right? You would want him probably to land here at the start of the animation, like that. The start of the of the road. So he would like of the road. So he would like move here, right? Something like that. But yeah, I just have no idea what I'm going to use for him. And yeah, if it happens up in the air, if it's a move that doesn't have a big background, like where is it? It's this, like this one. Here it doesn't matter if he's on the ground in the air, because it's a big space that, you know, doesn't necessarily follow the same rules. Like there is no ground here, right? He's just floating up in the air. So if there's a move where there's a background zone like this, right? And you can see the Digimon is like higher up in the air. Even if he's a grounded Digimon, you can bring him up. But if it's a move without a background, then it'll generally take the area in which you're in. So if he's floating up in the air, unless he's a flying Digimon, it doesn't really make sense, right? You got to choose one that's appropriate for whatever you're doing. Which again, I don't know right now what I'm going to do with this skill. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. With this, you already know quite a bit. Apart from maybe creating the effects for the moves, like the special effects, like nullifies unfavorable compatibility and all that. But I could potentially get to that in another tutorial if I have the time. In any case, this should be enough for you to know how to import a custom Digimon into Digimon Story Time Stranger. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out, and good luck modding.